Hi, good morning, people. This is the TBK podcast following the WBO welterweight clash between Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter. I'm your host, David, and joined tonight, I'm with my ever faithful after-fight co-commentator, stroke podcaster, LL.
Yeah.
Say what's up? Yeah, man.
What's going on?
Yeah, listen. So it was worth waiting up for, and kick us off, man. Let's go.
Boy, you know what? Yeah. First off, let me just start off by saying, fuck Kenny Porter. Yeah. Listen,
100%.
Listen,
What? 100%. 100%.
Listen, right? Okay. I had a bet on. Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a gambler, but I thought I'd take a chance.
To be fair, the last three podcasts, you've said that straight away each time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not judging. Go on, carry on.
Okay, cool. No, I think it's starting to become more of a regular thing now with like the big fights, right? But don't get me wrong, I'm still up. I still won. But one of the bets that I had, was that Terence Crawford was going to drop Shawn Porter 3 times. I put on a £5 bet on that. If I had got that bet, I would have won £125 from that bet. And it was also a free bet as well that I had. And Bud was on his way to dropping Porter for the 3rd time, and Kenny has, you could clearly see that Porter still had his whereabouts about him. He was banging on the canvas, he was upset with himself. And Kenny stepped in there and he stopped the fight. And for me, that says a lot about his mentality going into this fight. It's almost like you just thought, your son never stood a chance. And, the moment you saw that he was in any bit of trouble, that's what you was always going to do. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? It's a bit like I honestly believe, if Bud had been in that same situation, Bomac wouldn't have stepped in at that moment in time and stopped the fight. Not
if he saw the guy lively enough to the point where he was banging the canvas, then on his feet, then screaming yes at the ref. Do you
understand what I mean? I obviously in every camp, fighters have injuries and stuff like that, and I don't know what kind of situations Shawn had going into that fight, but Kenny just pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? He just pissed me off with that one.
The thing is, right, it wasn't even an injury as to why he stopped the fight. He said it was his preparation. And for me, I think, to be honest with you, I get the whole father-son, I trust you implicitly no matter what bond and vibe that Shawn has. But I think it's time for Shawn to wear his man pants now.
To be fair though, sorry to cut you off, Dave, but he's going to say that on TV. Behind closed doors, who the fuck knows what they're going to talk about? You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I don't really think it's a trainer's job, to so crudely expose his fighter with what it was that he said. He's because if you think about it, he said his preparation is what made him call the fight. I don't dude, you know what? It doesn't matter whether or not he listened to everything you said or not. Sorry. It doesn't matter whether or not he listened to everything you said or not. At the end of the day, the guy was willing and clearly able, to carry on going. If he gets stopped, he gets stopped. And maybe I think in his heart of hearts, he knows he'd rather suffer a TKO loss than a KO. Cool, whatever it is, isn't it? But the bottom line is, he's a fighter, and everyone keeps banging. Well, in their camp, they bang on about this, the warrior spirit, the never say die, and he's shown it plenty of times. Let the guy go out and he should.
And let's have it right as well. It wasn't like Shawn Porter was just getting completely obliterated and beaten up in that fight. Do you know what I mean? Shawn Porter put on a really good show. I gave Shawn Porter the 1st round. I know Max Kellerman said that he gave Bud the 2nd round, but I actually gave Porter the 2nd round as well.
Okay, I gave Bud the 2nd round.
Okay, cool. Then I think the next 2 rounds after that I gave to Bud. The round after that I gave to Porter. Going into the 7th round, I had it 3-all. I think I had it. And then after I gave Bud the last 2 rounds before he stopped Porter. So it was a competitive fight. Do you know what I'm trying to say? There was nothing that I saw. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the actual, I'm not saying that the stoppage wasn't legit because Bud done his stuff. But I don't think Kenny Porter intervening like that was legit. And just the reasons that he gave after were just bullshit. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You can see that Kenny's always rated, bud. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? But at the end of the day, your son is a high-level fighter. Yeah, he's supposed to be in there with these kind of guys. I mean, Shawn, for the majority of the fight, he showed that he belonged in there, and he gave Bud a lot of things to think about. Yeah, and I just feel like Kenny, although it may have elevated Bud, he kind of like, do you know what I'm saying? He kind of casted a bit of a shadow over Shawn's overall performance. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say to you? Because if Shawn had gone out there with that kind of performance, and after that, say the referee stepped in and stopped it, no one would have taken anything away from Shawn. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But now we're talking about his dad stopping it. Huh?
Yeah, but I still don't think we can take anything away from Shawn. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
The problem I think I've got with that whole camp or team is that he lets his dad do as he wants, in a sense. And the bottom line is, really truthfully, what he's got to probably acknowledge is that he's the paymaster, not his dad. Yeah. All right. Yeah. His dad's probably been his first and only coach, or was his first coach, and he's now his coach as a pro. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It works perfectly fine for Joe and Enzo. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we know that the father-son dynamic can work, but also if we go back in history and we look at people like Buster Douglas never took off until he got rid of his dad. Yeah. Okay. It was only for a few fights. Yeah, but if you really look at it, what a fight one of them was. Do you know what I'm saying? And we look at Shawn Porter, top level athlete. You know what I'm saying? Very game, durable, a problem. Yeah, really and truthfully. All right, he's 4-4 in 8 world title fights, fine. But the bottom line is, like, who he's lost to. Who he's lost to? They're not.
They've all been stellar guys. You know what I mean?
Every single one of them.
Obviously, one of the talking points of this fight is going to be how Terence Crawford compared to Keith Thurman and how he compared to Errol Spence. I mean, taking the knockout out of the equation for a millisecond, although it's not fair to do that, but let's just take that out for a millisecond. How do you think Crawford done compared to the other two guys I just mentioned?
Do you know what? I think, honestly, that he was picking off Porter a lot more than he was getting credit for. But that's because Porter probably looks the sharpest he has as well. You know what I mean? Like, he, as you're not alluded to, you said it outright, but he gave Crawford quite a lot to think about, which I don't necessarily think that many people gave him the credit for, or thought he could do, on the basis that, as Bud said after the fight, he's a mauler. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a mauler, he's a brawler, he's a spoiler. You know, he's up in your face, he's untidy, he does all the gritty stuff. And I don't think people necessarily gave him an opportunity as someone who was going to be using much of an IQ. I certainly didn't prior to the fight. You know what I mean? But the way he was stepping in and out, we always know he was going to do the angle. He was going to do the angles and spin around. We always know that's Shawn Porter.
Yeah, at one point as well, he spun Bud on the ropes as well. He done beautifully. Nice little few things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he did. But it's the way he would step in, pop, and then step back out again. That's not really what we associate with Shawn Porter. We associate step in, pop, and keep going forward. Do you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, round after round, from the second round onwards, Bud was throwing that check hook time and again. And a lot of time he was hitting shoulder, he was hitting, he wasn't necessarily catching him flush, but he kept on doing it, and he stuck with it. And in the end, the more polished work showed in the way he finished the fight.
Yeah, I agree.
And the thing is, I think, looking at on paper, comparing him to Spence and Thurman, in the end, well, I think Thurman probably needed the bell to go at the end of the 12th round more than Spence did. Thurman was very slick, and
I swear it was in the 7th round as well, man. I'm sure Shawn flipping knocked my man's ponytail out. You get me? His ponytail just went like all ruffled and shit. Like, he looked like Blanca at Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, like in the Spence fight, I just feel like Spence got hit way too much.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Spence needed that. He needed that knockdown in the 11th. He needed it.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's what he won the fight on.
Yeah. Crawford was a lot more cleaner, I reckon. I mean, he got caught with some shit, but ultimately, I feel like he stayed out of trouble a lot more. And you know what I like about Crawford is his mentality, like the psychological games that he plays in the ring. There was a point where he actually just walked forward and just pushed Shawn back. Yeah. And I just feel like it was just a show of strength, basically, to show Shawn, bro, like, I'm actually a lot stronger than what you lot all think I am. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Watch, I'm pushing you back. I'm showing you I'm stronger than you. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I just like Crawford's got dog in him, man. He's got dog in him. Like, he just won't be denied. And I also wanted to add, before we round this up, I love the call out at the end. Yeah, how we call out Errol Spence at the end. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, yeah, man, like, show intent. Stop always trying to be like the nice guy and, oh, I'm not mentioning these guys and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, do you know what I mean? He said it, innit? He was like, listen, you saw what he did, you saw what I did, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like that.
What does he say? Take his tongue out his butt? No, his tail out his butt. Take his tail out his butt.
Yeah. and I didn't like that.
My thing is, to be honest with you, when it comes to the whole 147 division, I don't think, in terms of overall mentality, no one's got Bud's killer in them. Yeah, like, and that comes from his life outside of the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I love the fact that he transfers that into the ring. And Rash said something on the podcast we did on Friday, which is, you know, when, and we know this already. We've said this before. We said this in the Curl Book podcast as well. When Bud has you hurt, what I love about what he doesn't rush in. He stays patient, but he stays killing.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I love that because you get some people who are running and start getting wild with it. Like, you know, he doesn't do none of that. He stays measured. And for me, I love when he's got a fight hurt because that's when he's his most accurate. And it's strange because
he starts landing. Yeah,
he don't miss. He don't miss when he's got you hurt, and I love that. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, this is kind of going to be my last point as well. I think to touch on what you said, or to expand further on what you just said a minute ago, is the mentality of Bud. You see that in Bomac, because for 9 rounds, he was guiding him the right way. At the start of the 10th round, or was it the 9th round actually? Sorry, start of the 9th round, he says, you know what, step up the intensity, and the 9th and 10th rounds were his cleanest rounds.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Facts. So, like, again, you look in the other corner and look at the mentality of Kenny Porter, and then you look at that corner and look at the mentality of Bomac, and we see exactly why. You got to think this guy came up from 140, has knocked out every single welterweight opponent. Yeah, man. Like, at the end of the day, forget people. Give the guys flowers now. Yeah, and the PBC, forget Spence. The PBC need to pull their tails out of their ass right now.
That excuse. Sorry. Just to add before we go, that excuse of he's on the other side of the street no longer applies. I mean, even if Bud did stay with Top Rank, which I think he's actually leaving Top Rank, but even if he did, Porter, you know, they've done Bud a favor and they've shown the public that, you know, Top Rank and PBC can work together. Spence hasn't got that excuse no more. So let's see what happens next.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Facts. But you know what? That right there, I think a great point to end it on.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah. So as always, love my guy. It's everybody. Love to you too. It's David. It's LL. TBK Podcast. We out.
Peace.
And this is the TBK Podcast.